games like Rainbow Six Siege are indicative of a new focus on long-lasting live games at Ubisoft. For a long time, Ubisoft was known for cranking out annual and near-annual releases in popular franchises like Assassin's Creed, Just Dance, Far Cry, the Tom Clancy games, and more. Now, though, the company is signaling it is in the middle of a major change in direction, focusing on fewer big game releases that draw long-term support from both developers and players. New releases now only represent a part of our business, which is now focused on long-term engagement with our player communities, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot writes in a sprawling 256-page annual report released this week. Our players not only play for more hours at a time, but do so over a period of months or even years. We are thus able to offer them new experiences and content, thereby extending the lifetime of our games. Guillemot points to Rainbow Six Siege as the primary example of this new focus. The game saw its player base double between February 2016 and February 2017. But continued developer refinement and player engagement with online-focused titles like The Division, For Honor, and Steep also reflect the company's focus on live games, Guillemot says. Ubisoft's new focus doesn't come entirely out of left field. For years now, the industry as a whole has been gravitating toward a games-as-a-service model that prizes continuing support for existing games. Now, though, Ubisoft is being quite explicit in moving to a model which is less dependent on releasing new games and more focused on developing numerous multiplayer games, which have dramatically increased player engagement. Where the money is, things like low user engagement and hit-driven cyclical business belong in the past, Ubisoft says. Increasing players' recurring investment is increasingly key to Ubisoft's profit margins. Live games are maintaining the money-making potential much better than traditional games, according to Ubisoft's data. An accompanying quarterly report PowerPoint presentation helps explain just why these long-lasting live games have become the company's primary concern. While traditional games tend to maintain only 13% of the revenue into the second year, live games bring in 52% of that first-year level into year 2, according to Ubisoft's data. In another slide, Ubisoft cites advantages like recurring revenue business, high user engagement, and a focus on lifetime value as benefits of these continuing games. The digital-first focus generates a more predictable cash-generative business model and market than the former annual release cycle, Ubisoft says. With the new model also comes a new focus on the player's recurring investment as a major metric for the health of Ubisoft's business. Things like in-game items, DLC, season passes, subscription, and advertising revenue now make up 18% of Ubisoft's revenue, the company says, compared to 38 to 39% for the likes of EA and Activision. Raising this ratio has the potential to deliver prodigious value for our shareholders, Guillemot writes in the annual report. With these kinds of numbers, it's not hard to see why Ubisoft would shift its focus almost entirely away from annual single-player adventures and toward online-focused platforms that can be extended with new content indefinitely. Don't be surprised as you see that focus reflected more and more in the big-budget games released by Ubisoft and others going forward.